We use a ton of apps and digital tools every single day, right? But have you ever stopped to think about what's actually happening under the hood? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to peel back the layers of a web app and see what makes it tick. All right, so the app we're putting under the microscope today is this one, a client asset tracker. Basically, it's a super practical tool that helps a business keep track of all the hardware, software, and tasks for each of their clients. And this is what you, the user, would actually see. It's a really clean, colorful dashboard, super functional, totally intuitive, and it gives you that perfect bird's eye view of everything. The bottom line? It just works. But here's the thing, that super seamless experience, it's not magic. It's actually a bunch of different layers all working together perfectly. So what does it really take to build something like this? Okay, let's dive in and find out. Okay, so here's the plan. We're going to break this thing down. First, we'll look at the blueprint, the core data. Then the engine, which is all the app's logic. After that, the user experience, the look and feel. And to wrap it all up, we'll follow a client's journey to see how it all comes together. Let's get started. All right, first up, the blueprint. This is all about the core data. Think of it like this. Before you can have any buttons or cool features, you just have information. This is the app's skeleton, really. So if you strip everything else away, at its absolute heart, this whole app is really just a bunch of lists. Seriously, the code just lays out all the possible software you can track, like Sage 300 ERP, or the different hardware, like these Datto series backup devices. It even lists specific software modules. Everything else, the entire visual experience, is built right on top of this simple foundation of raw info. And you know what? Sometimes the most powerful piece of data is just a single number, like this. 180. In the code, this is defined as the billing rate. It might look simple, but this one little number is the engine behind every single project value calculation in the entire app. And this is actually a really smart programming practice. By putting the rate in just one spot, a developer can change it super easily later on without having to dig through lines and lines of code. It's what makes the whole system robust and easy to manage. Okay, let's move on to the next layer, the engine. So if the data is the skeleton, then the app's logic, that's the brain and the muscles. This is where the code, usually JavaScript in a web app like this, actually makes the application think and do things. The real key here isn't getting lost in the syntax, it's understanding what the code does. So, for example, think about the Save Client button. When you click that, it kicks off a specific function, which is really just a set of instructions. And that function goes, okay, read the user's input, double-check that they actually entered a client name, gather up all the software and hardware they selected, and then wrap it all up in a neat little digital package called a client object. Then it saves it. It's basically a recipe that the app follows perfectly every single time. And this is so cool because it shows you exactly how apps grow and change over time. This is a real comment a developer left right inside the code. It's like a little time capsule, marking the exact moment a brand new feature was born. In this case, a log to track correspondence. This is so important to remember. Apps aren't just built and then they're done. They are living things constantly evolving, with new logic being added to the engine all the time. All right, we've finally made it to the surface. Part 3 is all about the experience. This is the user interface, the style, the stuff we actually see and interact with. It's mostly handled by code called CSS, and its job is to take all that raw data and complex logic and make it beautiful and intuitive. And the link between the code and what you see on the screen can be incredibly direct. Check this out. On the left, you've got a simple CSS rule. It just says, hey, anything I've labeled BTN primary, make its background this specific shade of purple and make the text white. And then boom, on the right, there's the result, that awesome-looking purple button. It's a tiny little instruction with a huge visual payoff. Now, when you take a whole bunch of these style rules and put them together, you get what's called a theme. For this app, the code actually calls it the Vivid theme. It uses this specific palette, this purple, teal, pink, and orange, to create a really consistent look and feel across the entire application. And this isn't just about making things pretty. It's a whole design system that makes the app feel cohesive and honestly just more enjoyable to use. Okay, so we've looked at the data, the logic, and the style all on their own. Now for the fun part. Let's trace a single user action from start to finish and see how these 3 layers dance together. Let's say you're a user and you need to log a quick phone call. First, you click the Log Correspondence button. That's the experience layer, the UI. That single click triggers a JavaScript function, Open Correspondence Modal, which is the engine waking up to show you a form. Then you type in the details and hit Save. That triggers another function, Save Correspondence Entry, which takes your info and saves it to the blueprint, the core data. And finally, a third function instantly updates the UI to show that new log entry you just made. See that? It's a perfect seamless loop between all three layers. And all of that brings us to the big idea here, the developer's symphony. Because a truly great application isn't just about one of these parts. It's about how every single piece plays its role perfectly together. So, to wrap it all up, it's these three core layers working in perfect harmony. You've got the blueprint, that's the what. It's the information the app is built around. Then you've got the engine, that's the how. It's the logic and the functions that actually manipulate all that data. And finally, you have the experience, that's the feel. It's the visual presentation that makes the whole thing usable and maybe even enjoyable for us humans. When you use a really well-made app, it feels simple, right? Almost effortless, like magic. But now you know that behind that simplicity is this incredible, intricate dance between data, logic, and design. And that leaves me with one final thought for you. The next time you open up one of your favorite apps, take a second and just wonder, what kind of hidden symphony of code and design is playing just for you right beneath the surface?